when you think about it, is China playing their gold card? It's absolutely insane that this is happening. And I don't know if it's just an odd moment because of, some people say it has to do with import or export restrictions or dollar restrictions, whatever it is. I think it will open their eyes and say, well, this is how we get it all. We just make the price way higher than the bullshit Western system says, and then they'll arbitrage it all. And we'll just stand for delivery off the LBMA and the Comex and take it all anyway. And so we are entering that period of time where, yeah, it's going to disappear.
The gold market may be struggling to attract attention from Western investors. However, Eastern consumers continue to pour into the precious metal at record paces. Analysts note that Japanese and Chinese investors have become significant gold buyers in recent weeks as the precious metal has reached record highs against the Japanese yen. At the same time, gold premiums on the Shanghai Gold Exchange compared to prices in Comex gold futures have reached record highs. According to Andy Schectman, China might strategically leverage its position in the gold market to its advantage. He suggests that recent developments such as import or export or dollar restrictions could be part of a larger plan. Chinese state media has described restrictions on exports of rare metals in making semiconductors and electric cars as a warning to the United States, signaling that China won't be squeezed out of global supply chains. Chinese gold prices hit record highs last week, extending a months-long rally as consumers snap up the safe haven asset to hedge against a depreciating yuan. Physical gold premiums also surged to new highs. Andy sees that China might intentionally raise the price of gold beyond what the Western financial system dictates. This strategy could facilitate their goal of accumulating vast quantities of gold, potentially supporting a new gold-based currency. Andy also references Keith Neumeyer, CEO of First Majestic Silver, who noted that automotive manufacturers are attending conferences around North America to disintermediate the process and directly source precious metals from producers. Concerns about supply deficits in the precious metals market drive this disintermediation. Andy believes that these developments involving China's potential gold strategy and the rising interest from industries in directly securing precious metals signal a shift in the global precious metals market dynamics. Now let's watch the excerpts from Andy Schectman's interview with Silver Slayer. But before we do, if you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell for more updates. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
Neumeyer is a buddy of mine, and he's a CEO of First Majestic Silver. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
He's not a geologist like most mining executives are. He's a businessman and a hell of one. And he mentioned recently that for the first time ever in the conferences around North America that he's speaking in, he's seeing automotive manufacturers attending these conferences, and they're trying to disintermediate the process and not go through the banks or not go through the Comex, but go directly to the producers. And that disintermediation is exactly because of the deficit that you're seeing. But here's an interesting one for you when you talk about how the East is going to get all the metal. There's something called arbitrage. And most people know what that means. For those who don't, that means if you have two different exchanges, one exchange is selling it for X and the other exchange is selling it for maybe X plus 1 or X minus 1 or 2 or 3. And so you buy it on one exchange and sell it on the other, or vice versa. And that little bit you make, bing, 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 you do it by large amounts. You can buy a gazillion shares and make 1 cent on a gazillion shares, buying it here and selling it there. It's taking advantage of a discrepancy in price on different exchanges. Well, I said a long time ago when they started talking about the Moscow Metals Exchange, I said, this is how they're going to do it. They're going to siphon all the metal out of the West by just listing the price, because these are the countries that own it all, the Eurasian countries. And they'll just lift the price higher by saying the Comex price is bullshit. Here's what we say the real price is. And this is cash and carry, like the Shanghai Gold Exchange. You go there, you pay cash, you get it, you leave. They have a futures market, but it's separate from the exchange. And so you could buy it and then walk away with it, basically, instead of, it's a futures market here on the Comex. It dominates the price instead of, yes, you can stand for delivery, but the majority of the volume, many times the physical delivery. Last week, the price of gold in the United States was $1,909. The price of gold in China on the Shanghai Gold Exchange was $2,020 US. $110 divergence, historic divergence, the biggest ever, 6%. And this 6% spread between the Comex and the LBMA and Shanghai, think about this. This happens 3 weeks after you find basically OPEC joins the BRICS. UAE, Iran, and Saudi Arabia, the big oil producers in OPEC. And so when you think about it, is China playing their gold card? You know, that we talk about the fact that they want to own all the gold and they're going to back a new currency by gold. And there is no question that because they revalue it as a tier one asset, BIS understands the significance of gold. So how do they do it? Well, they have Shanghai say, we'll pay you $2,020. And the West says, we're only selling it for 1909. Do you think the bullion banks will not drool on themselves, the JP Morgans and the Citibanks, and they're going to sell all the metal to arbitrage the hell out of it over to China, and they get it all.
The Venezuelan government congratulated the 6 countries recently admitted as new members of the BRICS group. In an official statement, the Venezuelan Foreign Ministry emphasized that including these 6 nations within the BRICS group signifies recognition of their significant roles in economic and political development within their respective regions. As pointed out by Schectman, this recognition carries particular importance for countries like Venezuela, which are facing Western sanctions. These sanctions compel nations to seek support and cooperation through alliances such as BRICS. Furthermore, the United States has barred 14 Iraqi banks from conducting dollar transactions, the Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday, citing U.S. officials. The report said that the ban imposed by the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York is part of a crackdown on the siphoning of U.S. currency to Iran. The United States uncovered information that the Iraqi banks engaged in money laundering and fraudulent transactions, some of which may have involved sanctioned individuals, and raised concerns that Iran could benefit, the newspaper said. Andy believes that these sanctions are a response to the attempt by these banks to make payments for natural gas from Iran, a nation under sanctions. This situation underscores the evolving geopolitical landscape and the growing propensity of nations to explore alternatives and establish alliances in response to such challenges. Let's get back to the interview.
Since the last time we talked about the new 6 countries that were admitted and the reasons why they were admitted. And now we see that the government of Venezuela has formalized its petition to join the BRICS. A lot of people don't know this about Venezuela, but they have what is believed to be the largest oil reserve in the world. And they also have a very large important reserve of natural gas. It's also a key geographic position to the entrance of South America. With Venezuela and the Maduro government, they are being sanctioned by the West. And it is the sanctioning of these countries that is certainly the rallying cry that is pushing these countries together to find safety in numbers. And so this is a big one as far as I'm concerned. I want to read something to you, which I think kind of is reminiscent of this. And I don't think people quite understand why this portion of the world, I mean, I think we all inherently understand it, but I want you to think about why a good portion of the world looks at us as bad guys and being hypocritical and being coercive and bullies. Right now in Iraq, there are 14 banks that are being sanctioned by the West, by the United States. And the reason that they're being sanctioned is that these banks tried to pay for natural gas from Iran, which is on the sanction list. Now, as a side note, Iran, in the span of 1 year, has joined the BRICS, formally been admitted into the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. You remember I talk about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Eurasian Economic Union, along with the Belt Road, every time I mention the BRICS. They're all the same countries. They'll all be together in the end. In fact, the president of Belarus is asking for a meeting to join these groups together. It's happening. It's coming. Promise you. And so, you know, Shanghai Cooperation Organization being the largest financial and military regional organization in the world, it's not a joke. Anyways, so you have Iran and Iraq, which most people don't know, had a peace deal brokered between the two countries by the adult in the room, China. First ever railway is being built between the two countries. So these banks are buying natural gas from Iran because it's 120 degrees in the summer and they're frying to death. And the banks get sanctioned. No, you can't do that. You can't do that, says the West. Now, we've already occupied the country for the past, 20 years, and they're still sanctioning banks because they're trying to buy natural gas to cool their homes and whatnot. Since 2003, all Iraqi oil revenue has been paid into an account with the U.S. Federal Reserve, allowing Washington to control the Iraqi economy further and pressure its government. Although Iraqis formed an allegedly sovereign government after the U.S. invasion, Iraq is still restricted from opening accounts for its oil earnings outside the United States. Think about that. You can't open any accounts outside the U.S. to put your profit into. No, it has to go to the Federal Reserve. In fact, all of Iraq's oil funds, which in 2022 amounted to more than $90 billion, remain in one single account at the New York Fed. The institution that 2 years ago unilaterally blocked Afghanistan from accessing its foreign reserves, plunging the nation into an unparalleled crisis. Think about that shit. So for 20 years, we've occupied them. And we still don't let them do anything with their own natural resources.
Eastern investors, particularly in Japan and China, are increasingly interested in gold, potentially leading to a deliberate push to surpass Western financial system-defined gold price limits. What are your thoughts on the interview? Share your observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.